All right, it is an absolutely gorgeous morning here. Today we're going to be talking about wood chips. Should you use them or should you not use them in your garden or food forest or whatever plot you're planting? Okay, so myth number one. Wood chips steal nitrogen from the soil. Okay, so depending on how you look at it, it's true and it's false, again, based upon our research. So what we've learned is keep your wood chips on the surface. Don't mix them into the soil, especially when they're fresh like this. If you can use aged wood chips, that's better. But these fresh ones, they're still breaking down and they are going to steal the nitrogen from the root level of whatever plants they're around. But here's the thing, if you leave them on the surface, they're not stealing any nitrogen, and that's the big misconception. So the roots of the plants are below the surface. When they're below the surface, then these nitrogen stealing chips aren't going to take away that vital nitrogen that the trees or the plants are going to need, because the roots are underground. They're not above ground, they're under the ground. They're not coming in contact. So you don't want to mix them into the soil at all. Once you mix them into the soil, yeah, you're going to have some issues. So you keep them on top of the soil. So we're using this extra heavy duty paper. We've used this like this smaller gauge or thinner gauge or whatever that's called earlier, but it seemed that the weeds like to go through. Now, the reason we're doing this is to smother this grass so it doesn't grow back. All right, so this is really cool. Check this out. Watch the steam come out. What's happening here is because there's a mixture of leaves, which is your green material and your browns, you're gonna see a lot of heat coming out of this, and this is what you want. So this is why you keep varying sizes, and you know, you leave the leaves in there and you keep the cardboard in there, but check this out. You can see that steam coming out of there. Hopefully you can see that on camera, but it's pretty incredible. All right, we're on our last step of the wood chip planting, and we created the mound and planted the nectarine tree, and what we're gonna do next is mulch around it with the wood chips. Now, full disclosure, I am using aged wood chips for this. And yes, I know that I said earlier you don't have to worry about it, but I had some laying around, so I'm going to use that. Again, I'm not gonna mix it into the soil. And now the question is how close should I plant it to the stem of the tree, and how deep should I plant it? Well, we leave it, I don't know, 3-4 inches from the stem, so not to suffocate the stem and allow oxygen to get in there. And then we go pretty deep. We go, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 inches. I don't really count on stuff like that. We just plant it, and the overall goal is to retain the moisture. So as far as I'm concerned, as long as the wood chips don't get against the stem of the tree, the trunk, then we're good to go. Like to pat it down and kind of firm it up here so it doesn't topple over into the trunk. Not going super hard. Now I am going to come along with the fresh mulch, and I'm going to level it out in this area here. Right now it's a little bit depressed, compacted down in here from the rain, but I'm going to level this out so it's going to be one nice level playing field. All right, so real happy with this. This is probably 18 inches off the ground. I know it's really hard to see on the video, but it's about 18 inches. This is raised off of the earth, and we built it up because of the excessive amount of clay that we have and the compaction that occurs in our yard. But again, it's in a system where it can probably thrive, and we're really happy with it. All right, so we are done with this project, and it did turn out pretty nicely. Really nice depth, great moisture, really happy with it. Couple of extra tips before we get out of here. But before we get the tips, please remember to subscribe if you're feeling that you're getting some value out of this. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much. A couple extra tips. Water in very deeply. You can notice that we didn't create too much of that wood mulch right next to the trunk. When wood mulching, the other thing is the wood mulch is better for woody plants like trees like this. It creates a nice network of the mycorrhizal fungi that is beneficial for everything around it that's woody. Now, the wood chips for your regular perennial type of herbaceous plants, it doesn't do as well. In our opinion, it's fine, but they need a different bacterial network. So we don't use the wood chips in our regular garden with the herbaceous plants, but anything that's woody gets a lot of wood chips. So just want to thank everybody for tuning into this and checking this out. And we hope that you had a good time, and we hope that you learned something. And remember, like we always say, do some research on your own, check a bunch of different sources, see what is common in all those sources, and then you can draw a conclusion from there on what will work on your site. But again, thank you for listening. We hope that you subscribe, and see you in the next video.